Off the Hook, airing on offthehooksports.com. Your home for real news, real opinions, and what really matters about Tennessee athletics. The Off the Hook podcast at offthehooksports.com or Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or wherever you go for your favorite podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, iHeart. Like, share, follow, subscribe. Off the Hook with Dave Hooker starts now.
All righty, here we go. Tennessee is 1-0, a 59-10 win against the Ball State Cardinals. And Amanda, let me just open it up to the forum out there. Your thoughts on the game. Go ahead and send us a message, and we'll get to your thoughts as much as anything else. But, Amanda, I've got some thoughts on the game. I know you do as well. Season opener always has surprises. What was under the Christmas tree for the Vols in the opener?
Well, 59 points was under the Christmas tree. I didn't see that happening. And I know this guy in the chat earlier today said 63. And I was like, calm down. Just calm down. But, I mean, he wasn't far off. He was better than I was. I had it at 48-17. And I know you had it. I can't remember what you had it at, but
I had 56-16.
Okay.
And, so I had one touchdown and 3 field goals. So it was 1 touchdown and 1 field goal. That's the way I saw it playing out. But I everything that I want to say about this game is going to be based off the first half, because there were some guys in there in the second half. I mean, Navy Schuler got in the game. That tells you pretty much all you need.
That was cute.
It was cool. It was super cool.
Cute.
Yeah, and I love Heath Schuler. I'm tempted to text him and see if he wants to join us now. I might just do that, but we'll see.
Let him enjoy his son's game.
That's true. He's probably with his son. He's probably like, come on,
Yeah.
baby. All right, so we'll do that. But Amanda, I think the most surprising thing to come out of the first half, and again, comment now and go ahead and share, and we would certainly appreciate garnering your thoughts. I was a bit surprised by Jalen Wright and the fact that he looks to be the clear-cut number 2 tailback. I thought that would probably be Dylan Sampson. I think the way this is shaken out is that Jalen Wright and Jabari Small are the 1-2, Small being the 1, Wright being the 2, and then Dylan Sampson's going to be your change-up back. So, we talk so much about Justin Williams-Thomas, and he gets in the game for 3 carries. So apparently he's not ready to protect the passer, or he's not comfortable playing college football. That'll come. It's not a knock on him, but that's where he is as of this moment on September the 1st when we're recording at 10:41 p.m. at night.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's how it goes. You're brand new, you're a freshman. I mean, this is you wait your turn. You get a couple of touches and you wait your turn behind the other guys who are ready to handle this kind of game. It's not for you right now, and that's fine. How old is he? 17, 18?
Yeah, 18 years old. He just looks
18.
like a man.
Yeah, he's a baby. You're still a baby. So it's okay. You sit behind the big boys, let the big boys play, learn from them, and then get out there when you're ready. I don't think there's a problem with that.
Yep, I agree. Any other takeaways from the game that you have? I have one on defense that I wanted to share, but go right ahead.
Well, the one thing I did see I think the score would have been different had that Ball State kid not fumbled at the pylon.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been a different feel. But I think him doing that just killed them. I mean, it really did just kill them. They weren't a terrible looking team. I mean, they weren't making, I don't feel like, stupid mistakes or anything. They were just, besides that one kid, poor guy, they were just way out of their league for the most part. Like, if you were playing people who are on your same level, besides that one kid with the hair, I don't know who that guy is. Like, look like an 80s rock band guy. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I saw him.
Yes, he was good. I would expect to see him in the NFL someday. But other than that, you're just out of your league. I mean, you just are. And if you get somebody who's on the same level of competition, I think they'll be fine. Ball State will, but not up against Tennessee. But I think that's something that Tennessee fans should be really excited about.
A couple of things I take away from I'm going to go back to the offense before I go defense. One, I thought Hendon Hooker looked incredibly composed, which I thought would be the case. I thought he had some great option reads where he pulled and kept and hit the edge, and he was able to score one of them. I think he goes into this with a calmness, a sense of faith in who he is. I don't mean religiously at all, of who this team is, but I think that was very apparent. A guy that probably was nervous as all get out when he replaced Joe Milton last year. On the other side, on the defensive side, I was really impressed by Tennessee's scheme defensively. I thought they showed a lot of different looks and twists and stunts up front. Now, a lot of that is because it's against Ball State, which might hurt you with poor gap fill and against good teams. But against Ball State, you show a bunch of looks, so Pitt has to prepare for a lot of stuff. But as a whole, I mean, I don't come away with really any negative takes. I guess my one would be that at the end of the half, I thought Tennessee's first team defense on that drive you're talking about that ended in a fumble, they were in the locker room a little bit early. I thought they got a little soft there. You and I were texting back and forth. You mentioned the fumble. That's not going to be tolerated by Wright, but it was recovered by Darnell Wright.
Mm-hmm.
But Amanda, I thought that was a really solid hit on the ball. I think there are some fumbles that are pretty impossible to avoid. You don't ever want to fumble, but man, that was helmet on ball.
Yeah, that was a difficult one to avoid. And he wasn't carrying the ball out. He didn't have it out like you see a lot of the players do or have it palmed. I've seen players palm it, and I'm like, what are you doing? Why? It's like a baby. Don't do that. Carry it close.
The only one guy can do that. His name was Walter Payton, and somehow he never fumbled.
And nobody here is Walter Payton. So, no, Wright wasn't doing all of that. He was just running, and right at the right time, that guy's helmet just went whoop, and that ball just went. And I mean, that happens. Like, and it sucks, but it wasn't, I don't think, a problem with him mechanically or he was having a mental error or anything like that. It was just the right place, right time for the poor guy, the other guy.
So a couple of things that coaches are going to look at are going to be penalties. And Tennessee did have 6 penalties for 49 yards. They did have the one turnover. But as a whole, again, I'm judging this mostly on the first half, like 90% on half the game. As a whole, I thought it was pretty clean for a season opener. Everybody expected that, but Amanda, I've seen a lot of season openers where teams come in and they're clearly taken aback by the environment. That didn't happen, and I thought that was impressive. Again, speaks to the composure not only of Hooker but the entire offense and the entire team.
I think that speaks to the composure of Josh Heupel and the way he has these people, his players ready. Because if you notice with Nick Saban, it's always about discipline, and everyone always will go out there and say, what do you think you did right? Or what do you think you did wrong? And, Alabama's up 24-0 at the half. And Nick Saban has a list of things that we didn't do this right. We didn't do that right. We didn't do that right. We didn't do that right. And everyone looks at him like he's insane because you're, winning 24-0. But Heupel has that same mentality. If you notice, when at the end of the game, when they were like, okay, how is everything? Well, he was like, well, we were messy at the end of the first half. We need to clean that up. We were messy at the end of the game. We need to clean that up. So having a 59-10 victory is great. He's excited about it, but clearly he still can see that there's improvements that need to be made. And he's not one to just, go crazy on his team about it. But he's also one to say, hey, I'm coaching. Here, we need to make these improvements. and not just, woo, we won, you know.
Agreed.
We've seen a lot of coaches that, woo, we won, and they don't have any input to give. It's just like, we won 59-10. We're great.
Butch Jones is basically the guy you're talking about. He thought Tennessee fans would be fine with 9 wins forever, and they weren't. And in fact, told a close friend of mine on the sidelines when he was an analyst for Alabama and Tennessee was struggling even further, hey, what was wrong with me winning 9 games around here? So clearly the expectations, I believe, based off the fan turnout. And if anybody's out there that went to the game and can share that there may have been an app issue with the ticket app, I saw that
That's what I heard.
Pop up on Twitter. I didn't. I will say this about the fans. I'm not calling out any fans at all, but I thought at the beginning of the game that there were more empty seats than I thought. I know it's a Thursday night game, and I get all that. But at the upper level, when they showed a couple of those shots, I was a little bit surprised. But
maybe that was the ticket app problem.
Well, it may have been. I mean, Jabari Davis, former Tennessee running back, is the one I saw that said he tweeted out that the ticket app crashed, and that's bad. Goodness knows Amanda and I can relate when it comes to apps. We will have one soon, we think, and God bless my wife for doing all the work behind the scenes and making it happen. But Amanda, I think that a couple things is essentially a dress rehearsal. So let's think about Tennessee moving forward to Pitt. I think Pitt's better up front than a lot of people think. But with what Tennessee showed me tonight and their ability to move some people around on the defensive side, maybe that's a little bit closer of a matchup. I really have a difficult time judging Tennessee's offensive line against a team like Ball State. I'm just going to be honest with you. I would get more out of a scrimmage at Lindsey Nelson Stadium where they used to practice in the outfield back in the day. I would get more out of that than I would Ball State. I
mean, this is not a game that you can really do a lot of judging on. I will say though that, I mean, especially on lines like the offensive line, you can't really do a lot of judging because you're right. I mean, the talent is just not the same. It's just not the same. It's just not going to equal up. It's going to be like a college team playing a professional team. It's not going to be the same. It's going to look completely lopsided. And it did tonight, but this game looked completely lopsided in Tennessee's favor. But I think that's something that Tennessee fans haven't seen in a while, is it being lopsided to their favor. And so I understand the excitement about that. I do want to say that I was quite impressed with the secondary, though, Tennessee. I mean, the 2 interceptions, that was great. But they also went with the whole, we'll give you the yards, but we won't give you the points, because Ball State had, 343 yards, I think?
They ended with 343, which is more than I thought watching the game, but when I saw it at the end.
And at one point in the second quarter, I think I texted you that it was like the time of possession, and Ball State had the ball for 15 minutes, and Tennessee had the ball for 10. So it's in the second quarter for 10 minutes. But Tennessee was up however much, 30 points at that point. So it's that hurry up offense. 10 minutes is all it took for Tennessee to score 30 plus points.
Right.
Ball State had it 15. I think still at that point had a 0.
Do I think Tennessee would like for that number to be a little more balanced? Yeah, but if they're even close in time of possession, they're probably happy with that with their quick striking offense. If it's even in the ballpark, it ended up almost even, 30 minutes and 5 seconds for the Cardinals, 29:55 for the Vols. So almost 50-50. And I do want to go back to the very beginning. What did you think of Ball State's approach, Amanda? Because they opened the game with a reverse flea flicker, and wow. And then they wanted to go for it on 4th down, and they kind of caught Tennessee unaware. Now, that's going to be something that's going to bother Tennessee's coaches. They had to burn a timeout there. That'll hurt you against a good opponent. But yeah, Ball State went all out. Ball
Yeah,
State.
but a good opponent is probably not going all out on the first drive
No.
of a game. It's just not happening.
No.
I think that was just the Ball State coaches were like, we ain't got nothing to lose here. Let's see if we can put some points on the board.
Yep,
That's going to be our best bet, is just to scare them for a moment.
I agree.
That's it.
Well, I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. We will join you each and every weekday at 8:30. So if you're watching right now, be sure and tune in at 8:30 on Friday, and we will have a fantastic show. Josh Ward of the Sports Animal will join us. We're looking forward to that. And also, we will be joined by we'll play comments, that is, from several of the players, and Caleb Calhoun will join us. He's got his rapid reactions that will be on offthehooksports.com, so check that out as well. But my stories are already up there, offthehooksports.com, and basically of a breakdown of the defense and what they did, and a breakdown of Tennessee's tailbacks. It is weird coming away from a 59-10 game, not talking about Hendon Hooker throwing for 500 yards.
I mean, he did run in 2 of those touchdowns, though. If we're not, 4 touchdowns total for him, and 2 of them he ran in.
Yeah,
it's weird to me coming out of something with 0 touchdowns for Cedric Tillman and 0 for Brew McCoy. I think that's just weird.
Yeah, and did you feel like, okay, so before we go away, did you feel like they tried to force the ball to Brew McCoy a little bit early, maybe to get him in rhythm? The guy's been through so much. Coaches will never admit to things like that, but I always wonder in the back of my mind, are you like, hey, let's get this guy out there and let's get in some catches. He's been through a rough month of uncertainty. Let's get him some catches. Do you think that goes through?
Yeah, I think you can see it. You can see it too. I mean, you can see it when it looks like, it's maybe not the best person in the position to hit, but the quarterback still tries to go for him. You're like, but that guy over there was wide open. But go for this guy. He's double covered. That sounds great. Not that anybody was double covered tonight, but that you can tell.
Boy, Tennessee's receivers are deep. Again, I know we're talking about second and possibly even third teamers coming in, but Cedric Tillman, 6 catches, 69 yards. Jimmy Holiday, 4 catches, 62 yards. Ramel Keaton, 4 catches, 57 yards. Brew McCoy, 3 for 42. Jalen Hyatt, 2 and 28. Squirrel White, 3 and 25. Walker Merrill had that touchdown where he was bare. And that's why Tennessee, that play right there is exactly why I think Josh Heupel has a chance to change things in the SEC East. He gets people wide open. Amanda, you pointed out, I haven't seen many people as wide open as Walker Merrill was. Dylan Sampson, the running back, had a catch. John Jancic and Jabari Small had a catch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players caught a football for the Vols.
Yeah. And Joe Milton actually did pretty well.
Yeah, and the one touchdown pass was a howitzer that was cleanly caught, and I would want nowhere close to my body. That ball was moving. Remember, we were at SEC Media Days, and supposedly he could throw the ball 100 yards. I don't know if you saw that bit of news, but I think it was Cedric Tillman saying that he could throw the ball 100 yards in the air. I'd have to see it to believe it, but even if there's a claim out there, that means you're probably somewhere in the 70-ish range, which is pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe, like,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that Tua can throw it like 60 yards, and no one believed that, so that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to have the strongest arm. You just have to have a strong enough arm. Milton would give up half of his arm strength right now to have a little more touch on the ball. I mean,
he just needs accuracy. That's all he needs. He needs just, I mean, you can throw it as hard as you can against, the broadside of the barn, as they say. But if you can't hit it, you can't hit it. So that's the problem. Like you can throw it 80 miles an hour at the broadside of the barn, but if you can't hit it because you don't have the accuracy, it doesn't matter how fast you throw it.
Amanda, I will talk to you at 8:30 in the morning. We encourage
Clearly my sleep.
Yeah, I could use sleep too. We encourage everybody to check out offthehooksports.com. We also encourage you to check us out at 8:30 in the morning. Again, Josh Ward of the Sports Animal is going to join us, and also Caleb Calhoun, just a budding young writer who is on Off the Hook Sports.
So smart.
So
Like he is just
in heat. Talking about you.
He's insane about Tennessee. Like he just pulls stats like I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, but okay.
Yeah, he pulled out a Bowden Wyatt stat that I'd never heard before. But again, him, Josh Ward of the Sports Animal, and we'll have reaction from Tennessee's press conference as well, as they're, I'm sure, about to hit the microphones and hit the podium. So again, thanks for tuning in this late at night, and we'll talk to you at 8:30 in the morning. This is a production of Off the Hook